Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike, Director of Education for Life Extension. And of course, even though we're separated by about, how many miles, Crystal?
Oh,
10?
probably not that many. We're probably about 10.
10, yeah. I'm towards the beach. She's like inland, which makes no sense to me because why would you move to Florida to live inland anyways?
Birds. When you have kids and a dog and the whole shebang, it's time to move out of the city.
I get it. I'm just kidding. Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. Life Extension. Yeah, listen, we're still moving forward, you guys. It's a crazy time. We're all in this together. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. As we just said, I'm towards the beach. Crystal's at her home. We got Robson on the line as well. If you have questions and stuff, you can post them. And we still have Holly that's going to be helping with some of that. And Hannah's somewhere back there in the background. I don't know what Hannah's doing, but she's somewhere back there. So a lot of stuff to talk about, and it's great that we can be with you guys today. I think Crystal, I heard today, I think it was CNN. 2/3 of Americans are in a stay-at-home mandate. Is that what is it a mandate? I don't know. I don't know the word.
We just in the state of Florida, it's been all over the news today. Our governor just issued for the entire state a stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
For our county, we have been under a stay-at-home order now for at least maybe a week and a half or so.
Yeah, something like that.
So I don't think that anything's really going to change for us, but the entire state now.
Yeah.
And that goes along with New York, I think Washington State, California. So there are a handful of states where the governors are making the decisions to say, stay at home.
Yeah. And it's something I think we should talk about just for a brief moment. It's not on our list here, but the importance of separation, isolation a little bit. As well as I do, viruses don't move. We move. And we bring the viruses with us, right? So tell us a little bit what you think about all this stay at home.
I think it's absolutely essential for us to do this. And, we call it social distancing. One thing is it doesn't mean that you can't be social. I mean, we are now
Good point.
the airwaves and, the internet service providers. I'm sure lots of adjustments are being made the bandwidth. But you can still connect with people. But it's so, I was talking to one of my aunts, and I said, the one message I think you need to hear is that you need to follow the guidelines. Stay at home. You have to assume that way more people are carrying this virus. And so
I think
they don't move, we move. Yeah, we are the ones that's carrying.
We're taking it. Yeah. So Dr. Fauci from the NIH, I think, was saying up to 25% of people that are infected don't even have symptoms. That's huge for a pandemic. And that's the big issue is those 25% they're spreading that virus around in the environment. They feel fine.
Right. So
what do I got? I'm going to go shopping. What do I got to stay home?
No, you have to assume that you have it, and you have to assume that the people that you're coming in contact with also have it. I mean, these are the assumptions that you have to make, which means that, you really shouldn't leave your home unless it's absolutely necessary. We've used the grocery delivery services before because, we like to try out new things. But we used a different service last weekend, and, it works. So
okay, good. Yeah, that's good.
There are definitely things that you can do to to not leave the house.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you can't go outside, get some fresh air, do some exercise. It's just when you do that, separate yourself from people. It's interesting right now, Dr. Gossett, because I'm facing my front windows, which is my main street. And every once in a while I see like a little family, like a mom and dad and 2 kids go by on their bikes. Some people walking their dogs. I think that's perfectly okay. Just make sure you're separating that. There is evidence that shows getting fresh air actually helps stop viruses.
I think that's the most important thing. And I find now, although I'm home, I'm spending more time out. I would say more hours outdoors. We have a routine. We wake up in the morning, walk outside for a little bit, take in the fresh air. And when after work, because we are working from home, after work, we get outdoors with the kids. Sometimes we have a recess, maybe a 15-minute.
I like that idea. Having a recess.
Well, that's what they're used to having at school, so we have it here, and it's great. It gives them lots of energy, and it kind of gets some of that energy out, and it's just it's good for us as well. Now it looks like Dr. Mike may be frozen. So I don't know if I'm frozen to him or he's just frozen to me, but I think it's just me now. And so I'll just kind of give you some suggestions and tips on what you can do while you are social distancing yourself. I do count my blessings because I am able to continue to work. Although it's challenging with having the kids here, but we have a system and it's working. It's not affecting our productivity, and that's great. But there are lots of people who are home and they're either laid off from work. If you're one of those people, my heart goes out to you, but you're laid off or your job is just, temporarily have suspended business. And you're going stir crazy. That's what I'm hearing, and that's what I'm seeing on social media, that people are just, I've seen lots of these TikTok videos. I haven't set up a TikTok app, but a TikTok account, but I see people dancing and really having a good time with family. Take up a hobby. So, we'll kind of take a look at something that I've started doing, which is fermenting vegetables. I have a coworker, Dr. Shanti Albani. If any of you have ever watched Life Extension on the show Know the Cause, she's one of the life extension doctors that regularly is on that show, and she's our manager of clinical information. So I spoke with her yesterday about how she's managing the social distancing. And Dr. Mike, I think you're back.
I'm back. I just technology, right? Working from home. I don't know. I just got thrown off.
Yes, I was telling them about things that you can do. Pick up a hobby. I was in the middle of telling them about Dr. Shanti Albani. And she is now growing veggies, hydroponics, in her garage.
But wait, they don't know Dr. Shanti. That fits her perfectly.
It's something that she's always wanted to do, so now she's doing it. And I thought about it. I said, I really should plant a garden. But we talk about maybe now's the time to learn a language. I was listening to, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's on one of those shows where you pitch your inventions. And he talked about the difference between people who are able to maximize this time, this moment in time that they have, these extra hours that they have in their day. And what are you doing with those extra hours? And really the person who's able to to transform that into something productive, those are the people who end up being very successful.
I like that. That's kind of interesting, right? Just because you're stuck at home doesn't mean you can't still be creative and, you know, do the things you do. You brought up something about routine. So I know you were talking about that a little bit. Maybe I missed some of it, but like,
no, I didn't. I was waiting on you.
Yeah, because I actually think that's really important, right? You like sticking to what you would normally do, minus the fact that you don't drive to work. I think I told you I have a friend, right, that has been working from home for like most of her career. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things most important things she told me, she's like, Mike, you have to act like you're still going to work.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you have to wake up, take a shower, brush your teeth, put on decent clothes. Now, I do have on my gym clothes, but there's
That's okay.
But it gets me in the mindset of working out. So there are no excuses. I am already dressed for the.
Yeah. So I like for me, the routine too is like sticking to my timeline. Like when I normally would leave to go to work, I'm sitting down at my station in my home, at my home office, and I begin to answer emails, whatever that is, because it just kind of grounds me in that normal day, right? Now, how is it for you though when you have two kids?
Well, it's actually, you have to be more creative. So we have a workstation for the kids in our home office. And we have schoolwork. So my daughter, she's in VPK, which is pre-K, but the school sends her work for the week. So she has study hour. We are introducing my 2-year-old to Khan Academy, and they have it for his age. So he's working, he colors. That's the new thing is, Mommy, print something to color. And the moment they hear that printer, printing, they get so excited. It's kind of like a dog when you stand in front of the printer because they know something fun is about to come out of the printer. Yeah, you schedule snack time. You schedule recess time. It's about having them on a schedule. You schedule nap time, and that's what I try to calls around their nap time.
Yeah. Do you remember we talked about how did we say it? The school stomach versus home stomach, right? Like, because it's true. Because I have a friend of mine who has two twin 13-year-old boys, big boys, growing big time, and she sent out this like Facebook post where she was like, I gotta somehow get my boys on school stomach time, not all stomach time, because apparently they're going in the refrigerator constantly. Like, how do you control that?
I've seen posts where people are literally putting up a sign like kitchen closed.
Not bad.
I also saw online that a parent creates kind of like a snack bag for each child. So you get your bag in the morning. If you choose to eat all of your snacks for the day in the first hour of the day, you're out of luck. But it's all rationed out, and they know this is all you're going to get. So there are strategies that can help with the bellies.
So when I was a kid, I was the youngest of 5, and my brother, who was the 4th in line, he was a big guy, big boy, and I was like thin as can be. If you would have done that back then, he would have ate his snacks and then just took mine.
Oh no!
Yeah, and then we had a big fight.
Well, the kids share. They're not at that age just yet.
Okay, that's good. So I like that. I think again, for the listeners, the audience watching right now, as best you can, stick to that routine. Dr. Gossert is married. She has 2 kids. I mean, she knows how to do it. I mean, in my home, I have 4 adults and 2 dogs, and so we're all figuring it out.
Yes.
I think one of the reasons I was dropped off is my son got online to go to one of his college courses. So I had to run in there. I had to tell him to get off, and I had to get. So it's just we're all going through this together, right? And it's gonna end. We're gonna get through it. Let's move the conversation, Dr. Gossert, over to the importance of exercise at this time. Let's be honest. Like I have stuck to my basic exercise routine, but being at home, I could be exercising a little more.
Oh, you could. You really could. Because you have, depending on how long your commute is, you have at least an extra 30 minutes in your day, if not more. Take advantage of that time. Don't sleep in. Just wake up your normal time. Exercise. Right. And there are lots of exercises that you can do around the house. I know that, the gyms are closed. They are, non-essential businesses. But there are tons of apps. There are dance instructors that's, giving dance lessons online. I found some of the most amazing resources. And if you're working from home, some of my colleagues now, they're exercising on their lunch break.
Awesome.
Right. They have their yoga mat, right next to their makeshift office chair. And, you still should get out outside or in the house and exercise, because that helps to boost your immune system.
Yeah. Oh, good point. Right. Yeah. Exercise, stress relief, bringing down the cortisols and all those hormones that cause us to stress out has a big impact, right, on the immune system. I do the elliptical trainer, right? I've told you about that. Yeah. It's just sitting right over there. So maybe I should, I don't know, maybe I should just be doing it every day or whatever, or even just get on for 10 minutes and have some fun, right? So
I love the point that you made about the stress factor, because we do know that cortisol suppresses the immune system.
Right. Yep.
So you are constantly in this fight or flight mode because, and sometimes you can't help it because of, maybe someone you love is now dealing with COVID-19, or you're afraid that you're going to catch it. Maybe you're at high risk. Exercise is the best way to bring down some of that stress.
Yeah. I'm still a big believer. I know we have to be careful with the social distancing and stuff, but I'm still a big proponent of fresh air. I think we've talked before, back in the flu pandemic of 1918, the military discovered this kind of by accident. They were running out of hospital beds for the sick soldiers, so they started at most of the camps, they started putting up tents, right? Yes. And they found very clear, very significant difference that those in the tents with the fresh air had less severe flu, less mortality than those in the hospital. So
absolutely,
getting outside, getting some sun, getting some natural vitamin D, continuing your exercise routine would be very important. Now there are, and Andrew is on here saying that, he's in New York City and we shouldn't really be telling people to go outside. Of course, you have to know where you're at, what the situation is, Andrew. And I appreciate that. I think you're absolutely right. But there are other places where going outside to the front yard, like I have a yard, I can get out. It's a little different than New York City, than the Manhattan environment. So based on where you're at, please follow the CDC recommendations. Please follow your doctor's recommendations. But Andrew, you can still do some exercise in the home. What did you say, Crystal? You had a yoga mat next to where you were? Yeah.
Do some push-ups. One exercise I do push-ups from the counter.
Yeah. Do that again. That was good. Let's do that again.
No.
But so Andrew, you're right. I appreciate that. And hang in there. We're all behind you. We know New York is a hot spot right now. So be blessed, be healthy, and know that we're all praying and sending out good vibes for you in the universe. So back to this idea of being stuck inside. It brings up the point of food, like how we're eating, and what we're snacking on, and It seems, going through, I don't, a lot of people online right now watching this, they may not live in hurricane states, but we do. And here's my issue. When I have to lock down, Dr. Gossard, especially like for a hurricane, which is just a few days, right? I am a bad eater. I eat stuff I'm not supposed. Don't you look at me like that. I saw that look.
Well, I have to agree. It's almost like your get out of jail pass. If you're going to be home and stuck and the weather is bad outside, then you deserve to be able to eat what you want. Not so much. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I also think we gravitate towards all of the non-perishable items.
Yeah.
And that can be a problem because we do know two things that are involved with preserving foods. One, salt, or two, sugar.
Yep. Yeah. And that's a big issue, right?
That is a big issue. So there are lots of snacks around the house. I have tons of snacks because I have kids. I try to make them as healthy as possible, but sometimes it's foods that I know would, I shouldn't be eating, crackers or the veggie chips and things like that, but the kids will. And so I find myself occasionally eating some of their snacks. And I think that's really, as a nutritionist, I am very careful with saying, eliminate this, eliminate that.
Yeah.
I think it's about a healthy balance.
Yeah.
And making sure you're not overindulging in some of those foods that we know are, going to worsen your hypertension, or foods we know it's going to drive your blood sugar up, or
good point.
Foods that make you just feel wacky in the head. And so those are the foods that you do want to minimize. And so I do have some examples of foods that.
But Dr. Gossard, do me a favor, before you do that, we have Patty online, and she just said something very interesting. And you and I have talked about this because I used to have that diet program, right?
Yes.
Diet Basics. And Patty just said that she brushes her teeth to decrease the snack. And we've talked about that, right? I used to tell my clients that if you want to eat something, brush your teeth or eat something minty, something in your mouth. And guess what it does? It decreases that urge. Patty, you're right on. Awesome.
Well, after I brush my teeth, I don't want to mess up my fresh breath.
But I think there's more. I think there's more to the cleansing of the mouth that helps to, like, maybe it creates some saliva. I'm not sure of the link, but I've seen it enough that it actually does work. So Patty, thank you so much for that. So you're going to show us because you're in your kitchen.
I am.
And so I see what looks like carrots. I'm not sure. So just tell them what's going on there.
Okay, well, one of the best ways to support your immune system is to focus on your gut. It all starts with GI health. We do know that in our gut, we have some good bacteria, some bad bacteria. I use bad in quotations, but just not so bacteria that are not desirable to have. And really, it's about a balance between the two. And one of the best ways to help to support your immune system, but by helping to increase good bacteria, is consuming fermented foods. So I was thinking about that. I said, well, we can talk about probiotics, but why don't I show them a quick and simple recipe, which will help you to preserve some of the foods that you're buying in the grocery store. And also help to support gut health. So this recipe, I actually started this ferment on Sunday. And so I'm just going to bring it really close. One thing that I don't know if you all can see.
Wait. Dr. Gossard, let me ask you. So is that celery? And it's hard to, is that celery and carrots? Is there something else in there?
Carrots and celery.
Okay.
But
all right.
Most important to see are the bubbles. If you have bubbles, you are in good shape.
That's fermentation.
Yes. And this is a simple fermentation. It's called a lacto fermentation. You don't need any type of starters or starter material for helping these bacteria grow. The vegetables, many vegetables naturally contain lactobacillus, which is, a type of bacteria. And so all you really need is water, salt. You make a brine. And it's a very simple way. So I'll just show you. And I actually spoke with one of our Life Extension employees. I won't say his name. Maybe we'll tell you. I'll have to get his permission. But he's really into fermenting foods.
Well, I want to know who it is now.
I'm sorry?
I want to know who it is, but don't say it.
Okay. It is our Chief Science Officer, Andrew Swick.
Dr. Andy.
Knowledge. I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but I contacted him and I said, hey, I am going to be showing a fermentation recipe on our live site, and I just want your feedback. And he gave me tips. Now, he did say that he usually uses a jar with holes on the top so that you can let it breathe, because what you see with the bubbles, those are gases that the bacteria is creating, that's being created here. But I'm using a clamp mechanism, and what I have to do is daily release the clamp,
release the pressure.
A little bit of that gas, release the pressure. He also suggested he usually fills his to the top. And that was something I was worried about with this recipe, because you really want all of the veggies fully submerged. So usually my container, the top is a little small, but if it was a wider container, then I would be able to use maybe like romaine lettuce or something that will push the veggies down.
Oh, yeah.
So that's very important.
Good idea.
So my husband said he's not touching this.
Poor Blake.
I am.
No, but Crystal, Dr. Gossard, how much water are you using versus the salt versus all that? Like, what's the ratio?
Yeah, so the ratio per four cups of water, you will use about 19 grams of salt. So I have my handy dandy kitchen scale, and but it equals out to roughly about 2 tablespoons or so of salt. And
we're just using good old fashioned salt, right? It doesn't mean anything fancy, does it? I don't know.
Sea salt. You want to use sea salt, and you also want the water to be filtered, purified water.
All right. So exact measurements important or not?
It's important. It will somewhat important. See, right now I just poured out 23 grams of salt. I'm a little heavy-handed, but it depends on how sour you want the end product.
I like my stuff sour, so I would add more salt, right?
Yeah. So this is about 4 cups of water, a little bit more than 4 cups of water, and then you just add your veggies.
This is a good question, Crystal. Maybe I might put you on the spot. Oh, I think Holly answered this. The question was, we don't have a scale. Can you please translate that to teaspoon, tablespoon? But Holly answered 4 cups purified water and 2 tablespoons sea salt. Yeah, okay.
And so, that kind of brings it right at the top. I figured I would do just the carrots for our demonstration. I had a feeling, I knew it was the celery that was floating. So.
But we can do any vegetables we want, right? You could put some cucumber in there. It doesn't really matter.
can. And
cabbage.
spoke with one of my really close friends who is a chef yesterday. I was calling everyone to make sure I was doing this properly. And he said, oh, that's just too simple. You need to spice it up, add red pepper, add some, garlic cloves. And really that's what you make this your own. So I didn't add a lot of things because I'm hoping that the kids will eat it if it's just really simple. But any spices, coriander, that's really great to use when you are, pickling or fermenting veggies. And really within 72 hours on your countertop, it's good to go. And
now, so how do you prep it though? So you drain. Do you have to drain it out? Do you have to like clean it again with fresh water, or you just eat it?
You just eat it.
Like right out like a pickle jar.
Yes.
Nice.
So really simple and easy. Maybe I'll let this one ferment for an entire week, and then we can check it out next week during our live. But it's very simple. 4 cups of water to 2 tablespoons of salt. You make your brine, you put your veggies in. Veggies that have a little more water, you may not need the brine because they release a lot of water once they start to ferment. But something like, carrots, you would need to add the
One more question for you, and then I'm going to take the conversation over into supplementation. Is it better to use vegetables that have a little higher sugar content?
Well, yes, that sugar will certainly help with the
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I don't want to wait 72 hours.
But really, you could do it with veggies are the easiest preparation, but there are recipes online. You can even make like yogurt with your probiotics that you have at home.
Nice. Yeah, we actually have Holly, I think, just posted that we have a blog that talks about some good spices and stuff that you might want to add that are anti-inflammatory. Right. So you can check that out as well. So Dr. That's fantastic. So fermented foods. By the way, I think we don't eat near enough fermented foods in this country. That's just we drink enough fermented stuff, but we don't eat enough fermented stuff.
Well, yes. Would you like to share what some of those fermented beverages are?
No, we're gonna move on. So
kombucha. I raided my fridge to find other fermented things. I love kombucha. This is great. I'm not like trying to say this is the best brand.
I'm not into that stuff. No.
Sauerkraut.
I like sauerkraut.
How about kimchi?
Love kimchi. I'm good with those. So so one of the things that we've talked about in our protocol, by the way, if you go to lifeextension.com/COVID-19, our scientific affairs department, by the way, Dr. Gossard's husband is in the scientific affairs department. They put together a wonderful protocol that goes over all this. And one of the key things we suggest, really just for general immune support, which you've already mentioned, are probiotics. And that's the connection here to those fermented foods. A lot of other supplements we talk about in that protocol, but Dr. Gossard, I wanted to focus just maybe on 2 or 3 with the time left. I want everybody, it's just my opinion. So don't talk to your own doctor, but whatever. I want everybody to take vitamin D.
Oh, I don't think you're the only one who's making that suggestion. I think just last week, a conventional, there was like an official report out from the conventional establishment encouraging vitamin D.
Yeah.
It's important that you check your vitamin D status. I always have to suggest that anyone who's taking more than 2,000 IUs of vitamin D, you need to test to make sure you are not overdoing it.
Yeah, no, sure. So you want to know your blood level. I always kid like when I do lectures and stuff, especially presentations that are heart related, I might ask a question like, raise your hand if you know your cholesterol level. And like everybody raises their hand. But then you ask, okay, raise your hand if you know your vitamin D level. 2 people, maybe. Yeah. And that might be more important. Might be. So I think knowing that, but even right now, if you don't want to go through all that right now, at least 1,000, 2,000 units every day. I mean, we recommend at Life Extension, or we suggest more than that. Upwards of 5,000, 7,000 units, but talk to your own doctor. But there's no doubt, and Dr. Gossard, you know this as well, it has been well established in the literature, way before this coronavirus thing, that low vitamin D status is associated with an increased risk of viral infection.
Yes.
I mean, it's simple. I mean, so please take some vitamin D. So we agree there. The other one, and I thought I would let you talk about this, is the importance of zinc.
Oh, 100%. Zinc is a nutrient that we actually can become easily depleted of. And it is necessary with helping to really target some of those receptor sites that you find viruses loving to bind to. And so zinc will kind of block some of the binding of different viruses through that receptor blocking. And there are medications that many people take that can deplete zinc as well. So
that's a good point.
That, anytime you find that you need to ramp up your immune response, zinc is one of the first go-to nutrients. Yeah.
So in most multivitamins, you'll get some zinc in it. You have to look on the back label to see the dose, but you probably want to be around this time of the year. And again, I say this time of the year because it's cold and flu season. It's viral syndrome season. We're just dealing with something extra here. Somewhere between 15 to 20, 24 milligrams of zinc every day. Now, so I get that out of my multi, but then Dr. Gossard, I also have on reserve, just in case I get symptoms, the zinc lozenges.
Yes.
And I'll take maybe 1 or 2 of those a day if I have any symptoms, just for a few days. And doing a higher dose of zinc for a few days it should be okay. You don't want to do that long term, but we're just talking about helping you through symptoms. So that's vitamin D, that's zinc. My sister is on, Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Cindy.
She says she does 2,000 units of vitamin D every day, and she says, you look like you're tan already. Well, yeah, I'm in Florida, so when I have a chance, I go out to my backyard. I got a pool. Yeah.
So awesome. Hi, Cindy. Nice to meet you.
All right. So how about this? Let's talk about one that I just think is really cool, and I already know you know what I'm talking about. It's lactoferrin.
Mother's milk.
It's mother's milk that gives you the original mother's protein that helps the immune system, right? So lactoferrin is found in colostrum, which is that first few days of milk production, very thick, very fatty. And lactoferrin is basically how the mom sends immune support into the baby, right?
Yes, we love lactoferrin. Now, I do have a bonus one. Do we have time?
Are we done talking about lactoferrin? You know, it's one of my favorites. You're just going like, okay.
To mine. I'm like, I have one that it's a recent, I would say within the past week or two, we recently updated our COVID-19 protocol with glutathione.
Wait, talk about this because of the antioxidant therapies, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this. Glutathione is one of the body's naturally produced antioxidants. Many people don't know we make antioxidants inside of our body. Glutathione, catalase is another one, superoxide dismutase. And all of those antioxidants are needed to support overall immune health. And in fact, in some of the research coming out of China, one paper I read, they are giving about 50% of patients, when they kind of looked at the patient population, 50% are being given IV glutathione in the hospitals.
Yeah, yeah. IV, it was basically a cocktail of glutathione and some other related antioxidants.
Yes.
I don't know if we've seen any conclusions from that yet, but I think we will. And I think you're right on. I think glutathione, vitamin C, those kind of things can be very powerful against a lot of different types of viral infections. It's important. I guess we should just state our disclaimer, right, Dr. I mean, there's no treatment. We're not talking about COVID-19 treatments. What we're talking about is immune support.
Yes.
And whether it's COVID-19 or basic cold and flu season, everything we're talking about right now makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you look at different protocols, just in general, you will find things like the glutathione, the vitamin C is really helping to support the natural detox processes in the body. And, when you can get out some of the funk in your body, that helps your body to be able to fight new challenges.
Yeah.
Let the body to fight off the normal everyday challenges, and then you don't have reserves for the newer challenges.
Yeah. All right. So real quickly, a couple more. Selenium. I'm a big selenium fan. It's a key mineral for the immune system. There's even evidence that if you're low in selenium, you're more susceptible to viral infection. So up your selenium intake. Again, you might find selenium in a basic multivitamin. That's great. You could also consider doing a little extra, about 200 micrograms of that important mineral. And then the last one, I think this might surprise people, is melatonin, right? It's not just for, it helps you sleep better. And that's one of the key ways you're going to be able to restore your healthy immune system. But melatonin has some effect to positively influence the immune system as well. Right, Dr. Gossard?
Absolutely. And really, a lot of people, we do know that melatonin, number one, levels start to decline right around the age of 30. And that's problem number one. Problem number two, we know that cortisol suppresses melatonin.
Yeah, cortisol up, melatonin down.
Right. So if you are stressed and dealing with high cortisol, now you're not, making enough melatonin. And the third factor is our exposure to blue light. If you're staying up and watching Netflix, all night long because you don't have to work the next day, or, just in general, we know that the blue light, you're on your phone, your tablets, all of that is also suppressing melatonin production.
Yep.
So many reasons why you should consider melatonin.
Yeah. If you've never taken melatonin before, I don't know. I guess you can start with, I think some come with 1 milligram, right? Maybe 1.5. I'm not sure. Start on that lower dose. But I think most people, once you get used to it, I think you're going to need between 3 and 6 milligrams a day. Yes. I think in the protocol, we mentioned up to 10 milligrams if you can do it.
You can. I know other protocols up to 20 milligrams. So it's something that, there's a wide range, but usually on average, 1 to about 3 milligrams is a nice starting dose of melatonin. Yeah. And if you find that you wake up groggy, then maybe that dose is a little
too high for you.
Yeah. And cut back a little bit.
I wanted to remind everybody watching right now too, Life Extension has wellness specialists that you can call. I think Holly just posted it in the comments if you want to check it there. It's 1-800-226. Oh, there you see it on the screen, 2370. These are doctors, nutritionists, registered dietitians that can just talk to you about all this and review the protocol and help build a regimen for you. We're just giving you education. We're just giving you suggestions. We're not your doctors. But it's still kind of good just to talk to somebody and hear what the real science shows. And you can always count on Life Extension to be grounded in the real, accurate, hardcore, published research.
100%.
Yeah.
We don't speculate about anything. We are looking at the data and looking behind the data to see what's driving the data. And that's one thing that I appreciate about the company and just working with the company.
That's great. Don't forget lifeextension.com/COVID-19. You can check out the protocol there. Dr. Gossard, so am I going to be able to try some of that for a minute?
Yes, you will once we are out of quarantine.
I may have to try that. I love carrots. I'd like to see how that might work for you.
I need to try it. I think I want to wait one more day.
Yeah.
And then I will try it out. And
well, but we're going to go live, right? Are you going live this coming Wednesday? Is it your turn?
I think so.
Next Wednesday, Dr. Gossard, or one of us will be live.
Maybe we can have the kids do a live taste test.
Oh, I would love that. Now that's it. You just scheduled it. It's done. Dr. Gossard live next Wednesday, 3:00 with her kids.
I can't back out.
Yes. Stay tuned for that. Hey, we just want to let everybody know that Life Extension is still open for business. Of course, we're following, as we said, important CDC guidelines, but we are an essential business. We are still taking orders. It's crazy right now. There's some back ordering going on. Please be patient, but I can assure you we are working behind the scenes really hard to fulfill those orders. But here's something I want you to know. Just because there's some back order, guys, we're not going to go to some cheaper sources. We're always going to source our products from the highest quality there is. So know that and trust that. And just give us a few more days to get the products out to you. And we appreciate your support. Please be safe, be healthy, stay at home as best you can. Dr. Gossard?
Yes.
You did a pretty good job.
In my kitchen.
You did. All right, everybody. I want to thank you guys for watching. Again, this is Life Extension Live. We will see you next Wednesday at 3 p.m. And you can meet Dr. Gossard's kids. They're awesome. They will steal the show. I'm Dr. Mike. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.